That's what should be on the website.
Okay.
That's what I should feel. And that gets you clients.
I'm just sent you directly my page that I just built in about 3 days to get your critique.
This is you?
That was me in, I think, 2016, more or less. Yeah.
Wow, dude. What a journey. Congratulations. Knowing your audience really matters. So Tanya just gave a whole bunch of great tips for how to target the female consumer. Chris becomes the face of fitness for America. You're the new whoever. What you're about to watch is a special private training session for people who bought a copy of my book, Built to Serve. Enjoy. Chris had his hands up before we even got here. So what's on your mind, man?
Well, first, I read your Momentum book cover to cover in probably 3 days. Amazing book. I'm glad Nina is doing okay. I've done the whole 2% thing and the $5.95. And I'm just sent you directly my page that I just built in about 3 days to get your critique. And that's pretty much it. That was it.
DesireForIron.com?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's check out Desire. You guys can go. I'll share my screen, make it easy for everybody. Tell us about it and how can I help? What's your question?
So I'm kind of doing the whole, showing the from pain to pleasure, if you will. Okay. So
holy cow, this is you?
That was me in, I think, 2016, more or less. Yeah.
Wow, dude. What a journey. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so the free ebook is the first funnel. Okay. That's the most embarrassing picture ever. And then that's, going on and on and on to bigger and better things. There's some testimonials, all that good stuff. And I'm just, I guess.
Cool. So what are we trying to sell, Chris?
Personal training packages. So if you go just under the what are we about, there's the personal training packages. Okay, there's the workout, there's just the nutrition, or of course the best value being both together. It's a telephone app. So whether you live in Brunswick, Ohio, because that's like the #1 hotspot in America, or you live in Venezuela, you can sign up. It's right on your phone.
What's the #1 hotspot in America?
Brunswick, Ohio. Yeah.
Okay.
So, just a little south of Cleveland, the vacation hotspot of the world, right?
Okay, got it.
So yeah, it's right there. It's right on your phone. It's workouts. Of course, you got access to me specifically if you got questions. It's all, everything's on a phone these days. You know what I mean? So it's just handy dandy phone. Reach out to you, set up your macronutrients, your calories, all that good stuff. Whether you want to be the person in a Speedo and a spray tan, or you just want to get in really, really good shape, that's what I'm about. Not everybody wants to compete, but at the end of the day, there's a man by the name of Dr. Ted Naiman. He said it perfectly. We are all bodybuilders. And what that means is you're a reflection of your diet and exercise, whether that's good or bad. That's what you are just by definition. So it's like, even though not everybody wants to compete, everybody probably wants to at least be in some modicum of health. And that's where I come in.
Okay. Cool. I love it, man. And congrats. And getting the first version of a page up is hard and sometimes hard to look at and critique, after all this time and effort put in. So congratulations. Couple of first thoughts. When you are for everybody, you're kind of for nobody. Like, it's really hard to start selling your services when it's very broad.
Okay.
So who do you work best with? You said I can go bodybuilder all the way down to average Joe. Like, who do you love working with the most, whether it's, age, demographics, mindset? Like, who do you love hitting the most?
Okay. My dream customer would be someone like myself, someone who is doesn't want to use steroids or none of that stuff. I ain't about that. But somebody who's just probably in their late 30s, early 40s. I'll be 48 next couple of weeks. So probably somebody in their 40s, male or female, that is just tired of being overweight and recognizes that it's going to take hard work. There's no such thing as a shortcut. It's hard work, and you're willing to put in the work. You're done with the whole fad dieting and the whole fad workouts. Like, I'm not going to name any workouts because they all work, but it's whether or not you're going to do it's a different story. You know what I mean?
First off, I'm jealous. I don't know. At 48, you have so much hair, so that's a whole other thing that you can. I'm 42, dude. You're looking great at 48.
Thank you.
Next is, okay, if you're talking about just being out of shape and getting in shape, most people who are in that position aren't thinking steroids at all.
Okay.
Right. So
Right.
if you're going steroids, now you're thinking like bodybuilding, elite, or I just really want to get insanely buff.
Right.
Like, I think everybody can relate to, hey, I want to lose some weight.
Sure.
But
Sure.
most of those people are not thinking I need steroids to do it.
Right. Okay.
So, but that's fine. Like that could be your audience. Like you want the people who really want to get big. Even this is like, this is not the ambition for most people.
Okay.
To compete and spray tan. Most people actually think this is weird.
Okay. Sure.
Right. Like most guys in America would see this guy and say, that's crazy. I'm never wearing a Speedo or thong or whatever. And like spraying this is insane. This is crazy. This is stupid.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Sure.
But it doesn't mean you necessarily have to get people ready for competition. Although that's definitely a model you could follow.
Sure.
But the people who look at this and say, yeah, man, that's what I want to be. Mm-hmm. But very different than the average Joe, kind of on the street who's trying to figure out how to lose 15 pounds.
Sure.
Even in the naming, right? So like if I looked at Desire for Iron Fitness, it feels like a much more masculine brand. I don't know how many women are out there like really tie into pumping iron. It feels more masculine. But then the colors are a lot more feminine and soft. You've got like the bright yellows and the pinks and the light blues. So like, who are we trying to target? If you want to target like women, for example, right? Like you could start here, but then, and the colors all fit, but it maybe not like wanting to be this guy.
Sure.
Or unless it's the women who want to be bodybuilders and like, you're going to help them or at least get to that kind of state. So I would start with, who do you want to actually serve?
Okay.
And it's okay if you want to be the guy, maybe, and I'm just, don't let me put words in your mouth. It's actually who you are. The guy who takes people who want to, I don't know what the term would be, maybe not go pro or compete, but like even just below that.
Right. Right.
Where they might even consider like an amateur performer or an amateur where like they actually look at this and say, yeah, I want to spray tan myself and I want to, like, that could be really cool. Maybe I'm not going to go be Mr. Olympia, but if I could do something, right? And you're the guy, like you could be the guy to teach me how to do, like, who's
teaching
that?
Sure.
And probably not many people.
Okay.
But who's teaching how can you lose weight and start eating better? Like everybody.
Right.
So that would be the difference. Like if we can, it's not that you can't win doing the everybody. It just takes an incredibly long time to build up the brand to be that guy.
Okay.
Because there's so many people who are out there doing it, who even if you have a better system, they have a bigger brand right now. And it's just right now, right? Like you could get there. But that's a 10-year journey to be like the face of fitness for America is a decade-long journey.
Right.
Where most people go broke along the way because they can't sell their thing because they don't have a big enough brand. So I would be looking at what's a more niche thing for you that instead of 130 a month as your max package is 1,000 a month.
Sure. Okay.
And you're training them to get a much more specific skill.
Okay.
So you're not necessarily the guy for everybody. It doesn't mean we have to like push people away and like, hey, if you don't want to be a bodybuilder, you suck. Like we're not
right.
But people self-select in.
Sure. Okay. So like, maybe even like have like a silver package, a gold package, and like a platinum package. You know what I'm saying? Kind of something like that. Like maybe the platinum is for the guy that wants to be a competitor. The gold is the one who wants to make his ex-wife jealous, and the silver is the guy who's just wanting to get started. Kind of.
That's amazing. But like that kind of language is now we're talking. Now we're talking. Like now we're talking about who you want to reach, right?
Okay.
Like, yeah. I want to make my ex-wife jealous, But I would still focus on what kind of value do you have to give somebody who's going to pay you $1,000 a month? Like, let's start getting you paid. Let's give you a 6-figure business.
Sure.
That then you can rely on and build on, start building your brand on, to then be able to invest back into these Be the Guy for America program.
Sure.
What's different? Maybe it's not even an app anymore. You know, like what's the thing if you're selling $1,000 a month, what do you need to do? What's the problems that those people are facing? If somebody wants, you know, to be this guy or
Mhm.
even this guy, you know, like competing or maybe
Right.
potentially competing in some local small show or whatever,
Right.
what does he struggle with that is different than this guy?
I would say the that guy with the distended belly, that guy's dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues, a lot of health problems, and the like. But the guy who's going from that to the dude two pictures down, that's the guy who's dealing with trying to stay away from those eating problems that got him to that point to begin with, and sometimes needs to almost. Well, I'm not going to be. No one's going to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning because they want to drink a fifth of whiskey and eat a pizza. But somebody who wants to like maybe an accountability on a weekly, if not practically a couple days a week basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, how are we feeling? How are we doing? What's going on? Sending messages, maybe even, setting up a Zoom call maybe weekly for that guy. The person on the silver package, negative. I actually have to see my wife once in a while. And then maybe the gold guy bi-weekly, I would do the Zoom meetings or something like that.
Yeah. So everybody needs accountability, you know, at every level.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's somebody somebody who wants to be like this, they'll listen to you. It's like it needs to be accountability from the right person.
Okay.
Accountability from somebody who like you can actually push them in a loving way forward and actually hold their feet to the fire. Like if somebody's posting a video a week, I was just on a Zoom call right before this with a guy who's posting 3 videos a week, and he didn't post on Labor Day. Like, why didn't you post on Labor Day? Like you could have had it. You could have had it posted. And like, how do we get to 4 videos a week and then 7 videos a week? Because he's in aggressive like growth. He wants to be this guy, the equivalent, but on YouTube, right?
Okay.
And he's got 300,000 followers.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, dude, but this is the time. Like, you need to be posting on Labor Day. You need to figure out. We need to hire a team. You need to get that person. We talked about it 2 months ago. You have to get that person on. Like, so it's a hard push,
right?
But most people, in most people's eyes, he's already crushing it. He's got 300,000 subs. He's making a lot of money. He's growing. Like, it's a great life. But he'll listen to me because I'm ahead of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
If random person said, "Hey, you should be posting more," it's like, what are you talking about? What are you posting? Nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So you've done this. So you have the credibility to push and to give the feedback. And so the accountability means something because they want to be like you.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Sure.
So I would honestly look at probably just 2 packages.
Okay.
To start. Sure. I would like the app is not the thing.
Okay.
I would ditch the app. And even all of this is geared towards like entry-level people. It's just all towards this person, but that's not who we actually want to serve.
Okay.
I would have one package that is one-on-one with you.
Okay.
That's $1,000 a month. Sure. And whatever that is, if it's like a weekly call that they get, however long, what do they actually need to solve the problem? Because they know a little bit about nutrition already. If they're already, they want to be this guy, they know don't eat cheeseburgers and, like they know a lot of stuff, but they need everybody thinks they're crazy. Their whole family thinks they're crazy. You want to do what? You want to stand in a bikini and spray tan yourself? Are you crazy? Like nobody supports them.
Right.
And you're the guy, right? Like Arnold had the picture of what's his name in his room.
Oh, Steve Reeves. Yeah.
No, Steve Reeves?
Yeah, not Christopher, Steve Reeves, and then or someone else. Reg Park.
Reg Park. Yeah. Arnold is in the army in Austria, working out, doing poses. Everybody thinks he's gay, right? And like making fun of him. And he's got these pictures of Reg Park on the wall, who was like Mr. Olympia or whatever. Like I'm maybe getting some of the details wrong, but like that was the thing that kept him going, where everybody thought he was crazy, where he like sneaks out of the Austrian camp at night to take a train to go enter some bodybuilding competition and wins and comes back. And like this starts his journey. So you become that guy for them, but actually somebody that they could talk to and connect with.
Okay.
So what does that person need? That it's $1,000 a month, that you're still seeing your wife and stuff, but this is your business now where you're helping people. Right. And then the package down would be a group version of it. Where if they don't want the one-on-one with you, they're meeting once a week, kind of like what we're doing here. This is free, or you spent $2 and bought the ebook. Cool. Minimum entry to come here. But I love this. Right.
Sure.
But this isn't my business. This becomes your business here.
I see. Okay.
Where it's group, but still the same kind of guys who want to do that. And you're giving them community. They just may not have the budget to be able to pay $1,000 a month to you. So it's a group program for them. And then the one-on-one with you. And then you design it so that you're making enough money to support your lifestyle, your business, hire a team, etc. And then this page needs to speak to younger you, not this version like massively overweight. It's cool that you came from this, so I know, but really it's like, how do I get to be this guy and maybe this guy? And what do I need to see? So what would you need to see? Like, would you sign up now? Like, seeing this is pretty cool.
Right.
But I may not be starting from here. Like, this guy doesn't want to be this guy.
Right.
Right. So help me become this guy, and those two packages. And so then like the naming could work. Like iron, cool.
Yeah.
Desire for iron. That now makes more sense to be this guy.
Sure.
And then
so maybe get rid of the chubby guy in the banner right there, and just have like me, doing my thing. Or
I would make all this smaller so it doesn't take up the whole page here, because this is all kind of empty.
Okay.
But just try to tap back into, like, how long ago was this, Chris, here?
2019.
Okay, so like try to tap back into Chris from 2019.
Okay.
What would he want to see on a website? What would you want to do? What would you want to do? Like, just before going on here, I don't know how nervous you were, or, just before doing your first competition where you're going to be wearing a Speedo and have like a tiny little number attached to it. All of the fears and insecurities and like, am I crazy? And what the heck am I doing? And, is this nuts? But if this Chris, or like the Chris a year before this, had 2022 Chris as a coach and a mentor and a guide, right? And saw that website, what would make you want to sign up?
Okay.
So, tapping back into 2019 Chris, and then having the whole thing speak to them.
Okay.
2019 Chris doesn't want a workout app.
Sure. Okay.
Right?
Sure. Okay.
And then this becomes the bigger long-term picture. It's like Chris becomes the face of fitness for America. You're the new whoever.
Sure. New Bill Phillips, or whatever that guy's name is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
Cool, man.
All right.
I just wanted to share a couple things with Chris, because I'm a consumer of those apps. So I'm just gonna put myself on the hot seat here. Like, something that is really attractive for girls is when you promote a specific type of exercises, like for targeting specific parts of the body. Like, that's how I got into one of those, because I wanted to exercise more in this or that part. So that's one thing that is really attracting for girls, and other friends that also consume that. And also the time, how knowing how fast you will get some result. Like, the app that I got, it's I have it in my phone. I do it like every morning of my life. I take it, regardless of where I am. It's on my phone. I just play it and I do it. And it's 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes. And I feel that, it has worked well. So that's something else that I think that, and also what I've noticed in your website is that there are no pictures of girls. So if I check it like very fast, I would never have thought that is for ladies. Like, my immediate thought was this is for bodybuilders or something like that. Okay. That's something. And also maybe videos of you being charming, because that's how I actually went to the page of
okay.
The guy was charming. And it has your type. Sorry, I'm showing my superficial side.
That's all great. Good.
And this is great. This is why knowing your audience really matters. So Tanya just gave a whole bunch of great tips for how to target the female consumer.
Sure.
If you're targeting the people who want to potentially compete, they likely don't care how charming you are. They want you to kick their ass.
Right.
So it totally changes how you show up. So I love the idea of having a video of you on the page and you talking about what you're going to do. The message to America would be, charming and Chris and smiling and you can do this. Chris is going to take me from, where I'm at to compete. I don't want the charming guy. I want the guy who's going to bulldog me into to doing it. Like call me out, tell me where I suck and like hold me accountable.
Sure.
Right.
So without inflating my ego even more, when you're saying being charming, what do you mean? Like just like showing videos of like workouts or just talking and presenting myself, or what do you mean?
He actually had like a live scenes of live coaching. He talking with a lady and discussing her concerns.
Okay.
Like, how do you feel about this, about that, and her journey. She was sharing her journey on how she became fit. So and his general, like what I've seen, because he's big, like he has lots of followers and he has an Instagram page, he has a Facebook page and everything. And in the ads, what the way he shows is like nice, like you are, like nice talking and saying, that exercise will help you to get this and that, So it's nothing like he's nothing too crazy, I would say. Just but he talks to in his ads and in his videos, he talks to like he talks and explain what he's offering. That and the only thing I've always thought about is that he misses during the trainings. He misses maybe a little bit of inspirational part, like he only counts the time and directs you through the exercises, but he never goes to why you should continue engaged, like tap into your reason why you are doing it. That's the only thing I would say he misses. But this product is good.
Chris, if I just quickly pop back on your website, you only have one picture and it's of this guy, Nick.
Right.
Again, who's our target market? Like to Tanya's point, if you want somebody charming, go look up Matthew Hussey.
Sure.
Matthew Hussey, I don't know if you know him. He's a dating coach for women on how to get men.
Sure.
He's got the smile, he's got the hair, he's got the vibe, he's very charming, he's very kind, he's very, he's not like, go look up his interviews if you wanted to go after that market. Cool. Looking at him, this looks great. Like how many seniors would love to go from this to this and be like Nick? Probably a lot of people.
Sure.
But is this like, is women our market? Is the everyday women our market? Is seniors like Nick our market? Or is it we want to target like 2019 Nick and turn him into a beast?
Like I said, my dream customer would be somebody that wants to kill it. The customers I have now, I have Nick. I have another person. Full disclosure, it's my mom, and she's killing it too. She's in the ebook, and she looks great. So I can put pictures of her up. She's married to Nick, so Nick's my stepfather. And then I have two other dudes. Three actually, but two dudes who are crushing it. And then I have that one guy in the testimonial on my Instagram page, and the other guy, I'm going to be putting him up soon. He doesn't know yet, but I'm going to surprise him on his 365th day of sobriety. I'm going to put something up there for him because he's killing it. And neither one of them, I don't necessarily know if either one of them want to be competitive, but they're utilizing a bodybuilding lifestyle, if you will, the lifting and the eating and stuff.
Okay. So listen, all of this language that you're using, killing it, bodybuilding lifestyle, it's great. Like that's not Tanya. Tanya doesn't want the bodybuilding lifestyle. She wants you to be charming, dude, and soften up a little bit and, smile more and be kinder. Right. But it's like that may be the evolution of Chris to like serve America.
Right.
But like, I want to get you paid.
Sure.
And the people who will love you the most right now are the ones who want to kill it, who want a bodybuilding lifestyle without necessarily going to be a bodybuilder.
Sure.
And that's what I'm coming to you for. I want you to help me kill it and get my bodybuilding. So all of that language, that's what should be on the website. Okay. That's what I should feel. And that gets you clients.
Okay.
And that gives you like, you start hitting a 6-figure business, then you can expand and do whatever you want because you're paying your bills and growing and expanding. And it doesn't mean bodybuilding lifestyle forever, unless that is the thing that you want to build your brand around. Sure. But that's the easiest path for you to start making money right now for where you're at.
Cool. All right.
So I have a quick question about YouTube. So the shorts, is that like sort of like the way we do reels on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok? Is it the same idea?
Same concept. I mean, Shorts was taken from Instagram Reels, which was taken from TikTok. So they're all similar. The thing with Shorts on YouTube is a lot of times that it could potentially take away from the views on your video, on your long form videos. A lot of times the people who watch a short video, they don't want to watch longer form content. So then it doesn't lead to subscribers who watch your content, who then will hire you and buy your stuff. So it could be a fast way to grow the channel with views and subs, but it's usually the wrong people who don't convert to any things that you want to sell. So, what's your goal? If your goal is, I just want to hit 100,000 subscribers as soon as possible, Shorts could be the fastest way to do it. Apart from advertising, which would be, the fastest way, I guess, but you're spending a lot of money doing it. But they won't convert to people hiring you or buying any of your stuff or, going into your funnels, et cetera. The way I would look at Shorts now is ultimately the goal, I would think, for everybody, if you really want to have an impact, is thinking daily content on your YouTube channel. Whatever your long form content is right now, like how many videos are you making in a week, Maria?
Well, I've gone down to like 3 now. I know.
Okay. Well, three's a good spot. Most people aren't at 3 at all, right? So if you're at 3, then I would look at on the off days, on the 4, put a short.
Okay.
But the ultimate goal would be to ideally go daily, long form.
So that's 10 plus, right? 10 minutes plus?
10 minute plus for videos. Yeah.
Could I use like my reels to do the shorts? Like, because I have all these reels from my other, platform.
Yeah. Ideally, you take. So here's our process. I don't think you even talked about this in Movement Maker. So here's some like bonus stuff for you guys here who show up to the insiders. Here's what we'll do. Ideally, if you have it as 45 seconds, then it can also go to Twitter.
Oh,
maybe you care about Twitter. Maybe you don't care about Twitter.
It
doesn't matter. But 60 seconds is for all the other ones: Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. TikTok is the most forgiving place. Meaning, if you post something there, it's much more about the content than the creator. So on Instagram or YouTube, a lot of it is, this is a Maria video. You're like, oh, cool. What's her next video? I want to watch it. So you're getting people to watch it based off of who's already watched your videos. And the downside is, if you post a bad video, the next video you post, people are less likely to see it on Instagram and on YouTube. So there's a consequence to posting, air quotes, bad content. The likelihood of your next video doing as well will be lower. TikTok is completely different, where it's almost zero about who's actually following you and much more about the topic, which is a lot more forgiving. So you could post, I don't know how many times we post a TikTok a day, like 3 to 5 times a day we're posting a TikTok. And it's okay if the video doesn't pop or blow up, because most of the people watching the video aren't people who are following me or care about me. It's based off the interest, the category, the topic. So you could post a lot more to TikTok. So what we'll do is we'll post the most to TikTok. Whatever performs the best, we then pull to our Instagram and pull to our YouTube Shorts. So if you had a lot of content, a lot of options, let's say you were posting every day or 2 times a day to TikTok, cool. Whatever performs the best, you then take to your Instagram as a reel 1 time a day, or it's 2 times a day to TikTok, take the best one once a day on Instagram. And then the best ones of those you take to your YouTube, which would be 3 times a week, because you're making 4 times a week long form videos, or the opposite, right? So if you have a lot of content, that's how we kind of reverse engineer. So TikTok, we just throw a whole bunch of stuff at TikTok because it doesn't punish you if you don't do well.
Okay.
And then that allows us to be on the other platforms too.
Great.
Cool. We might dive in like detailed on Movement Makers, or like with graphs and everything and examples if people want that, but that's just a little taste. The first question that came in on the poll was, how can we focus on one thing with too much information? So at the beginning of anything, it always can feel overwhelming, right? If you're thinking about, I want to start on YouTube, I want to start on social media, I want to start writing my book, I want to start like whatever new project you want to start, it always feels overwhelming. It always feels like it's too big. It always feels like you don't have enough information. You can't wrap your head around what's going on. And so what I like to do is just trying to figure out, where are the boundaries? Like, what is it that I actually need to learn? And at the beginning, I get super frustrated of any project, just trying to figure out where are the gates. Because I love optimizing. I love efficiency. I love making things as tight as possible. But at the beginning, creativity is messy and you can't prematurely optimize something. We try to optimize too soon. When you don't know the boundaries, you end up not being able to make any progress. So at the beginning of any project, I will take some time, sit in my frustration, and just basically try to figure out where the gates are around it. So what's the most recent one? I think figuring out AdWords and advertising has been one of those things for me, in figuring out, okay, what ads do I run? How do I put them up? What are the placements? What's the conversions? The demographics, all of the things that seem overwhelming at the beginning. And it's frustrating to know which ads to serve to which audiences, and just testing until I kind of get a sense of, okay, this is where the gates are, and then make it efficient and squish it down and optimize it. So at the beginning for me, it's just research, right? Research, playing, testing, don't get so overwhelmed by the big picture that you don't take any action, right? Like, what's the smallest possible thing you can just do to start gaining momentum? And then that first step seems impossible, but when you go back, it's like, oh, I did that first step. That's pretty cool. Now it's Evan's holding up the 2%. I got mine too. Make the 2% happen. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense, right? It's taking that big idea that seems overwhelming, that seems impossible, and then finding one step that you can do today. Because as long as you have it as some big dream in your head that is impossible, then you never take any action on it. And then, it's a year later and you still haven't done the thing yet because it still seems too impossible. And I see it all the time with entrepreneurs who are getting started. People ask me, how do I get started on YouTube? How do I get started as an author? How do I get started as a speaker? And you think you've got to have this perfect plan and the perfect gear and all of this perfect stuff. And then it's a year later and you still haven't done the thing. Immediate action, momentum. I see Zane's big smiling. Zane joined me on my 3 days a week now. I stream League of Legends and answer business questions. And Zane joined in and he said, yeah, I'm going to start making YouTube videos. And I forget what his original timeline was. It's like next month or in 2 months or something. I said, dude, Zane, come on, tonight, make a video. Let's go. Get your video up. And then he did. And he got his first video up. And then the second video. And then another video. Like, he's got his phone out. He's going to make another video right now. Like, that's the process. And it's not going to be perfect being off your phone, and it's not going to be the lighting that you want, or the gear that you want, or the background that you want, and your thoughts may not come out as clearly as you want. That's the beginning. Like, the beginning is supposed to be messy. So don't stress out about having all the information at the beginning. Just create. Like, in that momentum, you will start getting some results and additional momentum to keep on building, right? And I think a lot of you know my story about losing that $40 million deal when I was 22 years old, of just trying to be too perfect and have it all planned out, and, going to market and then seeing, oh, my perfect plan was not what people wanted anyway, right? Like, your perfect version of a YouTube video is not going to be perfect anyway. Once you start creating, it's going to change. It's going to take a million different turns. So the best way to do it is to do it. So to take action against that big idea. So it doesn't just stay an idea for you forever. Okay, next question. Nicolette said, what is your advice on where to start with content creation if you haven't started at all? So the easiest place to start is actually Instagram stories. Like, easiest place to start is Instagram stories. It's on Instagram. They're 15 seconds max. It's meant to be informal. It's meant to be non-edited. It's meant to be kind of behind the scenes. And so if you're trying to develop that practice of being a speaker, of creating content, I recommend starting like ground zero. You start with Instagram stories and try to find 3 to 10 moments during the day that you can share. Where's my book? Built to Serve, right? You guys, you have this book. If you're in this group, right? You've got it. Hopefully you've read it. It's not just some fancy ornament sitting there on your desk. Zane's got 2 copies. Victor's got his copy. I love it. Evans, I know, has got an entire shelf full of books somewhere there at the top. So it's about starting to share the way that you think to serve other people. You're weird. You're different. I like to say you're a weird duck. You think differently. Your job is to teach me to think like you think. So some of the things that may seem super obvious to you for other people is not so obvious, right? If I look at even your rooms, for those of you who can see, your rooms, like why does Zan have Captain America shield on his wall? Why does Evan have Napoleon Hill on his wall and Andrew Carnegie? Doug's trying to hold up Built to Serve, but it's being blocked out by the by the Florida coast. Why does Jeff have Steve Jobs up on his wall, right? Michael's showing Believe up on his wall, right? Like, why do you have these in your rooms, in your offices? It means something to you. And that may be like, maybe Zan's been a Captain America fan since he was 8 years old. I don't know. Like maybe that's just so natural, normal for him. But for other people, it's kind of weird to have a Captain America shield on your door, right? Like most people don't have that. So explain why it's there, right? Explain why you picked up this book. Most people wouldn't know that that's Napoleon Hill up on Evan's wall, right? So explain why he's there, explain what that message means, and finding these micro moments throughout the day from your routines, your habits, what you're eating for lunch, what happened when a client emailed you, like the way you respond to things is different. And so that's your job. It's not about how fancy the video footage is. It's your job to teach me to think the way that you think. And sometimes this is hard to step out of because for you, it's so natural and normal because you've been doing it for a long time. But for somebody else who's watching you from the outside, it's weird and different. And that's the whole point. And so Instagram stories, I think, is the easiest way to start just to get you into that practice of creating content. Again, 3 to 10 different stories a day. It takes 15 seconds max. So, at the minimum, I'm asking for 45 seconds a day, right? This is not a groundbreaking amount of time to create content, right? 45 seconds, 3 15-second stories a day. When you're ready to jump in and make it much bigger, I would look at YouTube as my primary home, and then I would split up the content to go to the different platforms. So when you can get to making one YouTube video per week, I want a 10-minute YouTube video every week. And it could just be taking me deeper, right? Zan has a 10-minute story about the Captain America shield. Evan has a 10-minute story about what he's learned from Napoleon Hill. Jeff has a 10-minute story about what that bullseye thing is behind him, right? Michael has a 10-minute story about what believe means to him, right? It's just taking me deeper into it. But the Instagram content stories is the first way to just start practicing getting it out of your head, out of your mouth, and into the internet, right? Into the world. Once you can get to 10-minute video a week, that's where I want you to be on YouTube, because that content will live forever. And then you split up the content to go to all the different social media platforms. So until you're ready to do that, Instagram stories, once you're ready to do that, then you can still do the Instagram stories, right? It's just add-on, it's additive. Again, the Instagram stories are 45 seconds a day. Everybody here has 45 seconds today to record 3 Instagram stories to tell me about something that's happening in your life. And it's not, this was really hard for me at the beginning of making content, it's not about telling me what you ate for lunch and just kind of vlogging. It's trying to find the message in everything. So if you're showing me your lunch, tell me why you picked that thing. Like, why are you picking asparagus for lunch? Or why are you having that donut for lunch? Like, why are you picking that thing? Like, explain to me the thought process behind it, right? I'm having the donut because I'm celebrating my 50th birthday or something, right? Like, I'm getting the asparagus because I have, I want to live a keto lifestyle or whatever it is, right? Like, explain the thought process behind the decisions. I remember when I first got started on social, Twitter was blowing up, and I thought Twitter was stupid. Like, this looks so stupid. People are just sharing pictures of their lunch and cats, and I have no interest in just sharing. I'm a pretty private person, believe it or not. Like, I have no need for you to know what's happening in my life. I have no need to share it. But when I realized, oh, this is actually thought leadership content, that the reason behind making this book or the reason behind having these pictures on my wall, it's not about me showing off. It's about me trying to help other people think the way I think so that they can improve their lives as well. So everything you've got around you is a story that hopefully has helped you improve your life some way. Now bring that back into the audience so that they can learn from you. Like, why are you here? Why did you pick up Built to Serve? What was the biggest lesson that you got from it? All of these could be individual stories that, again, teaches people to think like you think. So Stephen wrote, why is it important to tell your story? Okay, so in Built to Serve, we talk about this, right? People need to connect to you. If they don't feel like you know what they've gone through, they won't listen to you. So, Evan has shared a lot about his story with alcohol addiction. And, you would look at Evan like right now and you would say, oh, this guy looks like he's polished and clean and knows what he's doing and has his life in order. And you wouldn't necessarily think that he was addicted to alcohol. And I know Evan's okay with me kind of sharing bits of his story here on the stream. So if somebody came and was struggling with alcohol addiction and they came across Evan and he said, hey, here's what you have to do, these 3 things. They'd say, yeah, that's great, man, but you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what it's like. I mean, I'm addicted. You look at you, you've got your life together. It's all sorted out. Meanwhile, Evan knows exactly what it's like to contemplate suicide, to be, massively addicted, to have a lot of self-hatred because of the addiction that caused. And so unless people know what you've been through, they won't listen to your advice. Like Evan has some of the best advice to help people overcome it. But unless they know his story about how he came through that, they won't listen to him, because people will naturally think, well, you don't know what I'm going through. And so this is where you have to share your story, where you've came from, even the journey that you're still on, right? We're still growing. We're still learning. We're never done learning, growing, getting better and improving. But where did you struggle? Where did you come from? Because ultimately your purpose, like we talk about in Built to Serve, is to help other people who currently are who you used to be, right? There are many people who are Evan from 8 years ago. Evan Tinsman. We got 2 Evans in the group. I like using that as an example, right? But there's also many people who are Evan Carmichael from 8 years ago. And that's who you're talking to. And that's who you'll love helping the most. Evan Tinsman will love helping anybody, right? He's been an amazing human in the Movement Makers group and this group. Even when we first did our session in Pittsburgh, he was bringing value to all the other people in the room. He just wants to help, right? He wants to contribute, which is fantastic. But helping somebody who is currently struggling through alcohol addiction, is currently struggling with self-worth, is currently struggling with potential, suicide, he'll love helping those people more than holding the door for somebody at a grocery store or buying the Starbucks for the person behind him in line, because that's who he used to be. And it's the same thing for all of you. And I'm telling Evan's story because I know it better. I don't know all of your stories, in detail, but you've all been through something. And those are the people who you're going to love helping out the most. It just feels so much better. It feels so fulfilling that you represent hope to them, that when they see you and what you've come through, it represents possibility for them because they don't see possibility. For a lot of you, where you are right now is impossible. For where Evan is right now, it's impossible. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't be doing the stuff that he's doing right now. It's impossible. Evan from X number of years ago would look at this guy and say, there's no way you're going to be doing that. That's not possible. But he did it. Yeah, and so have you. And all of you are here right now. And the version of you 5-10 years ago would say that's not possible. And so that's your job, is to show other people who currently are you from 5 or 10 years ago that it's possible, that there is hope, that you can grow, that you can overcome, that you can climb out of this hole that you're in. But without sharing your story, to the question that Stephen asked, without sharing your story, nobody's going to listen to you. So you've got all this great information. You've got the knowledge, the tools, the desire to help, the willingness, all of it. And you can help, and you know that it can help. But nobody's going to listen to you because they feel like you don't know what you're talking about, because you haven't been through what I've been through, right? So that's why it's super important to share your story. And it's scary. It's scary to share your story. It's scary to put it out there. It's scary for people to know what you've been through. Like using Evan again as an example, he has a super successful practice in insurance. And it could be scary to let that out, to have clients, have customers, have partners, have people in the community know that you almost killed yourself when you were addicted to alcohol, right? Like now you're not normal anymore. Now you don't fit in maybe as much anymore. It could be scary for people to know what you've been through. But if you are silent, it perpetuates the silence. It means everybody else who's struggling with it, they stay silent too, and they become afraid to share. And your willingness to share, to be brave, to be courageous, to put your story out there inspires other people to say, hey, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one going through this. And it's okay to share my story too. So I see that as all of you, your responsibility to be able to do that. So, okay, Esmeralda's here. How do I overcome the fear of being in front of the camera or sharing pictures of myself? Well, where's Esmeralda? Esmeralda, we could do it right now. It's called turning on your camera. Hey, we got lots of people. Hey, there she is, Esmeralda. Woo! It's one step. Look at all the high fives and fist bumps and flexes you're getting, right? I mean, that's the start. So I do a couple of things. One is I tell myself that being afraid is not a good enough reason. You don't want to teach yourself that I'm afraid and I don't do it. I'm afraid and I play small. I'm afraid to chase down my dream and then I don't go for it, because that becomes this negative cycle that we repeat. And I love that you're like in a grocery store, convenience store, somewhere there while still tuning in to the live. It's amazing. But being afraid is not a good enough reason. If you can catch it, like the reason I want to do this, but I'm afraid, that just mental break down that wall. Being afraid is no longer a good enough reason, because everything that you want out of life is on the other side of what you're afraid of. Every growth, every opportunity, every breakthrough, every client, like everything you want to do comes from doing things that you're afraid of. Otherwise, if you're never afraid, then what? Then you stay stuck doing what you're doing. You just stay inside your comfort zone. It's just your life photocopying every single day. Are you at your job? That's amazing. I think she's working there. That's awesome. Esmeralda joining in. I remember when I had one of the only jobs I had was doing data entry at this company, and they wouldn't let me listen to music. So it was back when we had CD. What's a CD, man? It's like the Walkman, but for CDs, like a portable little CD player. So I used to have that on the floor. And then I ran a wire through my jeans, and I always wore a turtleneck. And I got an extra long extension cord for my headset, for my headphones. And I'd run the wire under my turtleneck and just pop out here to get one little sound bud to go into my ear so I can listen to some, mostly Andrea Bocelli at the time, while I was doing this super boring data entry work. So I love it. I love the hacks. Okay, so to that question, one is fear alone is not a good enough reason. The second part is you're trying to serve. You're trying to serve. You want to help. You're doing this, you're afraid to get in front of the camera, but why do you want to get in front of the camera? Take it from, it's not about you being seen. It's not about you being this big famous name. It's about you have a message that can help people. You're here trying to serve. And whenever I flip it to, it's about the audience, it's about the people who will see this, is that even if only 5 people see this video, maybe 2 out of those 5 people, this could actually be something life-changing for them. It's not about you, it's about them. That always gives me that extra little bit of confidence and push to go off and do the thing that I'm afraid to do. So I balance it between those 2 things, right? I'll tell myself, I'm Evan Carmichael. I do difficult things, or I do scary things, or I do the things I'm afraid of. Plus, I'm here to serve and I'm here to help. And my message can hopefully touch somebody today. It may not, but it's your intention going in. Like the intention behind the action of being in front of the camera is not to screw people over. It's not just to make yourself famous. It's to try to help. It's to try to serve. And so I always take that mindset going in before, whenever I'm super nervous, or before I'm ever making any piece of content. It helps when you're even filming your own YouTube videos, because sometimes it's hard when you're at home in an office, maybe with Corona, you haven't seen any humans for the last little bit and interact with them. And you just, even here, I'm talking to a camera, and it's awesome to be able to see your faces up here on the screen, to remind yourself that, hey, this is a video that's not just me in my office by myself. You're making this video to try to touch somebody else's life. And when you take that as an intention, your video will be better. When you're just focused on, am I looking at the camera and is my mic set up and all this other stuff, your video won't be as good compared to if you actually picture somebody in your head. I used to do this all the time because I had a hard time getting into the zone when I was making content. I would picture somebody and I'm making this video for him. This video is just for him and I'm speaking to him, and then I would channel him as I pressed record on my camera, and I'd always end up getting a much better video. Man, time flies. It's crazy. We're already at time. Let's get to like super rapid fire. How to deliver the idea message in a simple way. hot chocolate readings. I would do a 30-second hot chocolate reading every day and post it to Instagram. Hot chocolate reading of the day, and then whatever comes out every day, right? Every day for 30 seconds. From Denise, what type of videos go viral in your opinion? If I had a recipe for making a viral video every time, that'd be amazing. Like that's what everybody's going after. But really, I'd be looking at make the video that you from 5 years ago badly needs, right? Make the video that the you from 5 or 10 years ago badly needs, because the you from 5 or 10 years ago probably wouldn't watch an Evan Carmichael video. Like, oh, that guy, he's too energetic, he's too positive. That can't be real. Like you don't want to listen to those guys. But you could touch you from 5 or 10 years ago in a way that Evan Carmichael or Tony Robbins or Brendan Burchard or whoever else can't. And that's, I think, even much more important than worrying about a viral video that blows up on the internet, is having an impactful video that changes somebody's life. So I'm still trying to make the content that I need right now, but also that like 5 years ago, Evan still needs. So that's always kind of in the back of my head as well. Evan Tinsman saying, disagree. Ooh, okay. Your content helped get this Evan to where he is now. Well, I love it. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate the love, man. Love that 5 to 10 years ago idea. Brilliant. Yeah. Just imagine you from 5 or 10 years ago, or somebody who is like you and you're making content for that person. Because, again, Jeff from 5 or 10 years ago is thinking a different way. Doesn't have as much of a growth mindset, is not wanting to listen to a lot of the messages that are being put up there. He would look at what you're doing now and say, that's crazy, with books on the shelf and bullseye and all these goals and accomplish, like you wouldn't think that would be possible. And so you can reach Jeff from 5 or 10 years ago in a way that nobody else can. If you want to get a copy of Built to Serve and join us live for our next training with me to ask your questions, you can go get the book right there next to me, right there. I'll see you there. I'll see you to get the book. It's a good one. Much love.